Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of the fastest 5 minutes in Dynasty, where we get you all the latest Dynasty news and what the heck it means for your favorite Dynasty teams and players. I'm your host, Todd Hoffman, for Zilla Fantasy Elite. You can find Zilla Fantasy Elite over on Twitter at Zilla Fantasy. You can find me over on Twitter at Todzilla1337. Let's get this started. Cam Newton signs with the New England Patriots on a one-year contract worth $14 million. Clearly, this is good news for Cam Newton managers and Superflex leagues. One quarterback leagues, you can stay away until we get more news on free agent signings, and more likely until we see something different on the field than what we saw in 2020. Damian Harris and Sony Michel stocks take a decline a bit as Cam is a major scoring threat at the goal line. Division rivals New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, and Buffalo Bills can likely expect two slow-paced games when playing the Patriots in 2021. Keep that in mind. Everything else in New England remains relatively unchanged with this news. News out of Chicago is that they have formally sent the Seahawks a trade request for Russell Wilson. I haven't heard any details around what Chicago would send for Wilson's services. However, if they have formally sent an offer, it means that Seattle is definitely talking to teams about trading him. Impacts if this goes through? Tough saying without knowing who is involved in the trade. However, if Darnell Mooney and Allen Robinson were to stay in Chicago after the deal is done, their stocks would go through the roof. Darnell Mooney especially, considering how nice of a deep ball Russ throws. Cole Kmet would also get a bump up in stock as well if he were to stick around. Russ is a mobile quarterback, so I'm not entirely sure how much passing volume Montgomery and Cohen would get, but Montgomery's efficiency in the run game would likely see a slight bump up. DK Metcalf stock would plummet. Tyler Lockett stock would fall even further than it has already moving into the 2021 season. If this trade goes through, I would think a quarterback would be sent there in return. Either way, I like Alex Smith landing in Seattle on a prove-it deal. Stay tuned to see if this has any traction. To go along with that news, Allen Robinson and Chris Godwin were two of the premier wide receivers to hit free agency this year. However, both of their respective teams decided to franchise tag them. In Chicago, this would mean Mooney has an alpha opposite him, which I believe would be a big benefit to his likely growth in 2021. Stock slightly up on this news. As far as Robinson, the needle doesn't move much, as most of us were already expecting him to have a better quarterback play in 2021, even if he ends up staying in Chicago. In Tampa Bay, Godwin is sticking around for another season. This kind of deflates his overall dynasty value for a year, as the wide receiver room there is fairly crowded with Mike Evans, Scotty Miller, and Tyler Johnson. Antonio Brown is a mystery, but I like his chances of staying with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. Mike Evans' outlook remains the same. Scotty Miller stock bumps down. Tyler Johnson's stock is taking a bigger bump down as he was Godwin's likely replacement and will now have to sit another year before showcasing his skill set that flashed when given his extremely limited opportunity in 2020. News out of Jacksonville that was a bit alarming for James Robinson managers this week. The clickbait-inducing headline was that Jaguars GM was looking to add to the running back room, saying, quote, "We have to be able to take some of the carries off of James. You can only ride a horse so long." You'll have to go read up on the entire interview and the article posted over on the Jaguars official webpage to get all of that. But it's not as bad as the headlines made it sound. The honest takeaway is that his snap percentage will decrease, no bones about that. However, I believe his overall total usage will remain the same, as that offense projects to take a massive leap forward in efficiency by having longer drives and more scoring opportunities. The main takeaway from all of this: expect James Robinson to have another 225 half-point PPR fantasy season in 2021, just like he did in 2020. Needle probably moves ever so slightly up, in my opinion, as it seems like he will be entrenched as the main back there in Jacksonville with some more help to carry the extra load. He has a potential buying opportunity right now if Robinson managers are panicked off of this news. Go check. Now, for a bit of news on the incoming class at their pro days. Ramondre Stevenson runs a 4.63 in the 40-yard dash at the Oklahoma Pro Day after cutting a massive 16 pounds off his college playing weight, dropping from 246 pounds down to 230 pounds on his pro day. Given this was a pro day, and there's not any sort of video review on the 40-yard dash like there would be at the combine, we can assume that Stevenson is closer to the 4.68, 4.7 range. This bumps him down the running back list quite heavily. Think of him as the next Deonta Foreman, but 0.2 slower in the 40. Also less explosive and with 1/3 of the college production. Hard pass. Let someone else clog their roster in your 2021 rookie drafts with that dude. Travis Etienne weighs in at 215 pounds and runs a 4.40 at the Clemson Pro Day. The 215 pounds was the bigger shocker of the two. He came into the season weighing 199 pounds. They said his playing weight was about 208, 207 during the season. He came in at 215 pounds and ran 4.40. However, there are claims out there that Etienne bulked up just for the pro day and that he was looking awfully chubby and bloated. I do agree. What say you? Thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed the fastest 5 minutes in Dynasty presented by Zilla Fantasy Elite. I am your host, Todd Hoffman. Please drop a like on this video, and if you haven't already, obliterate that subscribe button like Derrick Henry obliterated Josh Norman on national TV last year. Keep grinding, my friends. Bye.